Okay, my dear friends, whole world is struggling for number of issues, but this World Health Organization has recognized that the last 2 decades has been very severe, the human experience in life, that is the climate change. And the climate change, it was also mentioned that of the many factors of the climate change which the humans suffer, loss of biodiversity, degradation of the forest, natural resources has been one of the major causes. There are many, but this one. And the World Health Organization also mentioned the human health suffering is very severe. And IUCN mentions that some of the very precious biodiversity which is responsible for the food production, safe water, is also depleting. So the water is depleting, biodiversity is depleting, health is in serious precarious state, and also we all are thinking of development. Look at that. So can we think that we all will have a very good health? Can you please tell me if we don't have any food? No. So you need food for health. Oh, why? And then, is it possible that there are lot of agri crop in the field, lot of opportunity of working and earning, but you are so sick that you are unable to come out of your bed, can't walk. Can you work for your livelihood? No. So let us know from Dr. Raktima Mukherjee, what could be the way? Can there be a way where health, natural resource, climate change issue, water, mortality, even the economic challenges could be addressed? So let's listen from Dr. Raktima Mukherjee, the Executive Director. She has been working for a very, very important program, One Health.
Thank you, Professor Roy. As Sir was mentioning about health. Now, when we say health, what comes in our mind? When we ask for health, good health, that means what comes in our mind? Health means
physical health or mental health?
Physical health. Mental health also he mentioned. But when we say health, normally we think of diseases. Diseases, clinical aspect. So somebody is not well, there is some disease, so we have to treat ourselves, we have to go for some curative aspects and we will be healthy. So health means that clinical part that comes in our mind. But we don't consider health in totality. And as Sir was mentioning, nowadays there is a worldwide, you can say, realignment in the thinking, a kind of a movement that is taking place that calls upon the concept of One Health. So when we say One Health, it means what? Because when we are, so far, when we talk about health, we talk about human health. But here in the One Health, it says, like we, the human being, if we are to remain healthy, then we cannot think in isolation. We cannot be healthy without having health considerations of the animals and the environment, the shared environment that we share, the human and the animal. So human health, animal health and ecosystem health. These three things are to be considered together and not in isolation.
That was really, I was thinking, the moment she called health, I thought human health only. But as she mentioned, it's not alone. Yes.
And so, if we see just these three figures from World Health Organization, what it says, and it will give us some idea like why we have to think about these three aspects together. If we see like some 60% of emerging infectious diseases that are reported globally, not in our country, globally, 60% of the emerging infectious diseases come from animals, both domestic and wild. Over 30 new human pathogens have been detected in the last 3 decades, and 75% of which are originated in animals. And it also says like healthier environment, if our ecosystems are healthy, then it could prevent almost 1/4 of the global burden of disease. 1/4. So you can understand the volume. So it clearly gives an idea like why we have to think about human health, animal health and ecosystem health as a continuum. And that is what the One Health approach is. It unifies the human health, animal health and ecosystem health. That means the shared environment that we share, the human and animal. And it calls upon understanding the balance between these three and understand the close and interdependent links amongst these three. How our health, as sir was mentioning, can we think of our health? Can we be healthy without having healthy food? So if we have to have healthy food, then where from it will come? It will come from the ecosystem, from agriculture, agri-ecosystem, from water, aquatic ecosystem, from forest ecosystem. So we have to take care of this ecosystem health. And with the degradation of the ecosystems, again globally, of all kind of ecosystems, and the changing land use practices, what is happening? This supply of biodiversity is getting threatened. Our nutrition source is getting reduced. And due to loss of the habitats, animals from the wild areas, they are coming into close proximity with the human beings because their habitat is fragmented. Their habitat is again threatened. So due to that close proximity between the human and animal, the chances of getting these diseases are becoming more prone. So this unification, this understanding of the linkages and understanding of the concept that if we have to remain healthy, we have to take care of the health of human along with animal and the ecosystem health. That is the crux of One Health concept. And the approach of One Health, what it says, like we have to optimize the health of humans, animals and ecosystems through integration and not looking into it in isolation. Like the sectoral approaches. Health department, they are looking after the human health only, and agriculture department, they are looking after the food, but there is no linkages between health and agriculture. There is no linkages between health and water. So it cannot happen. So we have to have an integrated approaches to address the issue of health for right from prevention, detection, preparedness, response to the challenges, and management. And all these, like the three components, human, animal and ecosystem health, as again sir was mentioning, like they are facing more challenges nowadays due to the changing climatic conditions. So above and all, we have to take them into consideration in the context of climate change. And for that, what kind of approach you think is required? First and foremost is adopting a systemic approaches, where we will start thinking, we will start understanding the interdependence and interconnectedness, and changing the thought process of all of us, like considering health in isolation for curative aspects to considering health in totality, human, animal and ecosystem. And that change in our cognitive thinking, it has to be like we have to develop a strategic action again for its translation, because understanding is one part. All of us, we know cigarette smoking is injurious to health, but then we know it but we don't practice it, is it not? So for that, we may understand the importance of the interlinkages, interdependence of these three human, animal and ecosystem health, but that first part is developing the knowledge base amongst the stakeholders, and these stakeholders include all, in the sense of those who are the service providers, the different government functionaries, departments, the policy makers, the community members at all levels. So the strategy has to be developed to disperse, to disseminate the knowledge, develop the knowledge base, then changing the attitude towards accepting it. One is knowing, another is changing the attitude, like yes, it is good and I will accept it. And then comes the most challenging part, which we are discussing for the last 2 days, how we adopt new behavior and practices. The practices, the behavioral change, to integrate it into our daily life. How we adopt the practices to change our food habits. Such kind of food that we take, which are in balance with environmental conservation, ecosystem conservation. What kind of practice we will adopt so that the habitats are protected, ecosystems are not fragmented. So that comes the most crucial aspect, knowledge, attitude and practice, and it cannot be done by any single department or by any single sector. It has to be in a concerted manner by involving the stakeholders at all the levels, right from the policymakers, where One Health as a policy will be introduced. Then comes the different sectors who will start thinking in an integrated, systemic manner, approaching the health issues. And then comes the community members who will take it up, adopt new behavior and practices and implement it in the field. Then only we can address this issue of One Health, which is the need of the day, which is understood, accepted, and now it is globally promoted by World Health Organization. Thank you.